My name is JD. I'm the head of Imprimo, and tonight with me, I have my colleague Steven, who is here to help me answer some of your questions. I want to take some time to give a special thanks to our partners, Carfax, Capic, and PPOC for helping us put this event together today. We simply could have not done that without you guys, so thank you so much for all your involvement, all your effort. I want to take some time to walk you through the agenda quickly for this evening. We'll give you a quick overview of Imprimo, the journey from inception till today. We'll take you through a demo and show you how to use Imprimo to best present your photography. And we left about 20 minutes at the end to answer all the questions you may have. I would ask that you wait until the end to ask your questions. By all means, you can enter them in the chat box. And when we get to the end, we'll answer all your questions. We probably won't answer many questions as we go in the chat, but you're more than welcome to enter them so you don't forget any of your questions. With that, we'll get started. So we'll start with the story about how Imprimo got started. Our team at Access Copyright and Prescient started the research back in 2018, coming from a rights management organization. And we wanted to explore how exponential technologies such as blockchain might be able to help make right management more robust. But through that process, we learned a lot of things. We've done hundreds of hours of interviews with artists, galleries, and photographers. And when talking to photographers, a few things stands out. And today I'll take you through some of the learnings that we've had and kind of how we took that learning to build a product that we think would really help photographers grow their practice, and especially on the online space. So talking to photographers, a few things became quite apparent. There's no question that commercial photography is a competitive field. Rates are going down. Clients are looking for existing image as opposed to hiring photographer for commission ones like they were previously. They're looking for one image for their global marketing as opposed to having more regional images like there has been previously as well. Many photographers use platform like Instagram to promote their work, but with the recent change to the algorithm that prioritize videos and frequent posting and not really focusing on the quality of image, it becomes a problem for photographers. So we've heard from many that these platforms are not really serving them best. And we wanted to build something that really puts creators, photographers, and artists at the core of our development and our product. So the more and more photographers find their image used in all kinds of places without their authorization. It's even more common for photographers and from other artists from what we've learned, leaving many photographers feeling helpless about this behavior. Like one of the quote that we got from one of the photographer was, if you're worried about someone taking your image, they've already done so. So I think, that just speaks to the importance of trying to find a solution to that where, photographers are able to share their images online while still feeling that, their rights are being protected. We heard from many commercial photographers that they also have artistic projects that they would like to work on, they would like to develop and exhibit. They want to create connections with galleries, even though they may not today have those exact connections. They're not really recognized for their artistic work, even though there's a quality behind it, and they're really interested in growing their network with galleries to enhance their presence as creators and artistic photographers. They find it quite difficult to cross over from commercial photography to artistic photography. The world is changing, and for photographers, we're here today to try to create a brighter future for photographers, and we hope that our platform will help you present your photography in a better way than before. So when we built Imprimo, like I said, our core organization, Access Copyright, represents artists and writers in the publishing space, and we partnered with other associations such as Carfax, RAV, and Copyright Visual Art to really have a deep understanding of the needs that artists have and to build a platform that really helps creators build a digital presence. We also put quite a bit of thinking in understanding how can we reduce the administration that comes with running an artist practice, from continuously updating the CV or cataloging your work and so on. In the case of photographer, that could be many, many thousands of images. We want to create something that make it very, very simple and easy to be able to manage your practice using this platform. So with that, I'd like to take you into what's Imprimo, how does it work, and how you can best present your photography online. Just give me 1 second here and just try to share my screen. Perfect. So this is Imprimo. What Imprimo is and what Imprimo aspires to be in the future are, when we talk to artists and photographers and galleries, we realize that there's a lot of platform out there that was built to help them show their work. You know, there's some, for example, you could share your work history on LinkedIn, but reality is it's a lot more made for employers and employees who have jobs and roles and not as much works and exhibition. And what we heard also is that not really too many people from the artistic community use LinkedIn as their primary platform. We heard from many that use Instagram, and like I talked previously, I think as things evolve, it is focusing a lot more on frequency and on videos, which is not necessarily in the best interest of photographers. But we wanted to create some things that, you know, what we've heard from artists was we needed to create something along the line of a LinkedIn, but it is really based on the artistic and the creator ecosystem. So today, what you see, I would say, is Imprimo 1.0. What we wanted to start is with artists, with photographers, to allow them to create a network, create their profile, and have something that can either replace or enhance their website in order to be able to present their work. Where we're going in the future, and we'll talk a little bit about that later, is to have galleries and museum profile, and where you're going to have more interactions similar to what you can do on LinkedIn, but for the creator economy. But for today, I'll show you what we have now. We'll talk a little bit more after about what's coming. So coming on the landing page, the first thing you see is here, you have an infinite scroll. So we want to create this to be the page of discovery. We want to make for art lovers to come on the page and make it very easy for them to discover Canadian art, right? And to be able to explore, more about the work. So when you come on the page, the first thing you see on the left side is you have the ability to filter by category. In this case, I filter by photography, but you can certainly choose different filters. There's categories and there's different mediums being used. When you hover over the image, you'll see the avatar of the artist, the name of the artist, the name of the work. We thought that was important. It makes it very easy to quickly have a browse on who is the photographer, or who's the artist that created this work, and get some information. Should you click on this, you would be heading to the artist profile to learn more about them. At the top, you can see here, there's a little thumbnail. The thumbnail here shows the blockchain registration. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now about this. I will come back to it after, but I just wanted to kind of touch on it, given that you might wonder what is that thumbnail here, and I wanted to touch on it. So this page here was mainly created for art lovers, for your audiences to come in and discover art. We want to make it in a way that is very attractive and very easy to explore different type of art, kind of a similar way as you would on other platforms such as Instagram and Pinterest. You have the ability to search by different word, by your favorite artist, different keyword. You have the ability to go and to search for artwork. You have the same ability to filter by categories and mediums as the previous, as on the home page. And once again, you know, you can search by different artwork here. You have the ability to search for artists. When talking to artists, we realized that art was very much local. So you can see here, we have the name of the artist, but we also have the pronoun and the location being quite important. We realized that if you're from Newfoundland, St. John, Newfoundland, the likelihood of you buying Newfoundland art is much greater than buying it from Surrey, BC. So as you can see in the filter here, we've actually added the location in addition to categories. So you're able to search from the artist from your favorite region. And when the artists present their work, they have the ability to choose their avatar. We encourage many people to do like Michael did here, did like Claire did there, and so on, and put a really high resolution image of themselves. But by all means, some people will choose to put a different type of avatar or their favorite artwork and so on. And you have the ability to illustrate your three favorite work, and at any time you can change that. So now what I want to do is take you through, a few profiles that we think did a really good job at creating your profile and touch a little bit on how you can best use your profile to promote your career. So now we're looking at Michael Cooper. The first thing you will notice when you get on the page is this little red bar here that says ID verified. So when building Imprimo and we look at other platform out there, we realized that I could go on there, I could build a profile, and there was no real mechanism in place to prevent me from pretending I'm somebody else. Very simply, I could easily go on Instagram and copy Michael's profile quite quickly. And it would be pretty challenging for Michael, as long as I'm not doing anything fraudulent. It'd be quite challenging for Michael to take my profile down. So we saw this being a threat to the creator ecosystem, and we wanted to add some stronger mechanism to prevent people from being bad actors. And the step number one that we realized was the ID must be verified. The process of verifying the ID is very similar to how you would do it on other platforms such as Airbnb. You come in, when you create your account, you'll be requested to take a selfie, take pictures of your driver's license. The two of the selfie and the image on your driver's license will be compared. Your name will be compared to your name on your driver's license. And if there's a match, your ID will be verified. At our end, we don't keep your information. We don't keep the picture of your driver's license. It's all going to be deleted after the verification process has been done. But this allows us to make sure that Michael is who you pretend to be. He had to verify the ID, and therefore we know that there's no bad actors on our platform. And we thought that that was quite important in ensuring that proper attribution was being done. And here again, like we saw previously, you see the avatar, the name of the artist, the pronoun, and the location. On the far right side, you see this share button. We created this so that you're able to share your profile as an artist on all social media. You can share it via email, you can copy the link, you can text it, you can send it on Messenger, and so on. And being able to share your profile to help your audience learn more about who you are as an artist. Here we create the cover image. We highly encourage all artists and all photographers to try. If you look, in the case of what Michael did here, there's a picture of himself doing his work. While we conducted those hundreds of hours of interview, we heard, especially from art lovers and from galleries, that if we're able to create a link, an emotional link with the audience, such as giving an image of seeing them work into the studio or doing a shoot or so on, it drives significantly more interest in the work of the artist and in the artist. So we highly encourage to do it like Michael did here. You'll see a little bit after, some of our very successful artists choose to have their favorite artwork there, and by all means that is okay. I'm simply sharing what we've heard. What Michael did here would be the best, our best suggestion to drive some interest into your work. In this section here, you have the ability to have a short bio. I would say if you have an exhibition coming or any announcement that you'd like to make, this is probably the easiest place to put it. I would say this is probably the box that should change the most often out of everything that's there. And it's the greatest way to announce anything that you have coming up in your career that you'd like to share with your audience. Many people will do exactly what Michael did and just have a short bio of themselves and introduce them as you land on their page. When we go a little bit lower, you can see that there's a longer description, which, here's your chance to really tell, who you are as an artist, how you got inspired, how did you start, where do you take your inspirations for your artwork, and so on. We'll see all kinds of different bios. I personally really enjoy getting to learn from the artist, and this is a section that really helps us to do so. You have the ability on the right side to add different keywords that will help you get discovered. So the more keywords that are related to the work that you do, we highly encourage you to have them there. You have, in the bottom here, you have the ability to link to your other social channel, your other website, and so on, for people to be able to find them. And finally, you have the button here. If someone's interested in contacting you, they can make an inquiry here. This window is going to pop up and it allows to send a message directly to you. Now, I want to take you through the CV section. So here we have Patty Lane. So just going back to what I was saying a while ago, you see in the case of Patty, he chose to put one of his favorite artwork here as cover. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think, it creates a beautiful profile. But again, the feedback that we receive is that an image like this tends to have more traction and drive more interest than having an artwork. But that leaves to be your decision. When looking at the CV, when we talk to artists and photographers, the one thing that we've heard is updating a CV depending on different exhibition and so on. It's a lot of work, right? You continuously have to update this. You might have this sitting on your website as an HTML, as a PDF, or as a Word document for different grants and different projects like that. Continuously have to have the file updated, make sure that you have all the right information, and then, to be able to submit it. So we wanted to create something that was visually engaging, that really gives the full story of your career, but to make it in a way that really reduces the administration. So as you can see here, you have the ability to list a series of different events from solo exhibition, group exhibition, scholarship, grants, publication interviews, education, membership, and so on. For example, here, this is where you might want to list your PPOC or your CAPIC membership to help your audience understand that you're serious photographers and you're a member of these reputable organizations. And then as you list some events, for example, in the case of Patty, who did an exhibition at Gallery 501 in Sherwood Park, Alberta, you can see here the different artwork that were exposed, that were exhibited at the gallery, as well as some images. In this case, Patty has a video, he has some documentation, he has different images of the exhibition itself. That does a few things. First of all, it makes it a lot more engaging for the audience to be able to understand, okay, Patty was at the Gallery 501, but what happened there, right? It really gives you a visual and understanding of what has happened and drive a lot more interest. You have the ability to add some supporting documents. Maybe you got some post-sort of prize or so on, and different events that you can add it here. So one of the things that I would say is adding these events drive discovery, it drives interest, but more importantly, it helps to document the provenance of the work, right? It helps to really make sure that to really be able to say, well, it helps bring confidence that these events have actually happened to the audience. Of course, we can see the gallery exhibition right here. The likelihood of me saying, well, probably that Patty didn't do this is pretty low. So the advantage here, once again, is to increase the engagement, make the story easier to tell and more engaging for the audience, but also document the provenance in a way that is very easy. And you can do so. I'm just trying to see if I can show you guys education here. Some of them have their certificate. I want to see if I could show you some documents, but it looks like I might be out of luck. Now moving on to the artwork. So when we listed the artwork, I'll click on this one here for a second because I think it has a pretty good story. Might end up in a different page. I want to go back to the blockchain ID. So when we started the research and we look into what is blockchain, how does it work, right? And how could this benefit creator? Simply said, blockchain, is the equivalent of having a spreadsheet that is shared in a public domain where each entry is permanent. And our purpose to use blockchain was to register creative claim in a way that makes them immutable, right? Which makes it, very easy to protect the right to show the right of the creators and knowing that nobody can come and change it after the fact. So if you were to click here, you would land on the blockchain, able to follow the blockchain transaction and see that it was actually registered on the blockchain. Should someone make an edit to the record, so what was going to happen is the second entry is going to happen on this spreadsheet that is shared publicly, and therefore you'll be able to see the two entries on there showing that there was a claim that was made previously. At a high level, that's blockchain. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but I don't want to lose everybody. If you have some questions, I'd be more than happy to answer that at the end. So when you click on the artwork record, you have the name of the artist, you have the name of the artwork, you have the images here. As you can see, you have the ability to add different images. So if you have photography, you may want to have, to zoom in some certain areas to show different aspect of the photography, or simply to have one image showing here. In the top right corner, we have the share button again. This one's a little different. So if I go to share this one on LinkedIn, for example, share in a post, you'll see that it shares the image, but it also shares it tied to the artwork record. So what does that do? So if someone comes and sees your image, right? What we've heard while doing our research is that most people have good intention. They see your image, and they probably don't fully understand, what are the right associated to that? What is the right path, and how should I contact the artist, or even who is the artist or the photographer, and what will be the right process. So sharing your image through the artwork record on Imprimo allows you to tie the record to the image that you're showing. So what happened if I share this? When you click on the image, I'll be brought back directly on the artwork record, where I could learn the full story behind the artwork, see who is the right holder for this image, and if I have any questions, inquire about it. So that is one of the things that I think we're quite proud of how this came out. We really wanted to make sure that we help protect artists. Currently, you cannot right click and save any images. We also have currently the images are reduced in quality to make sure that we don't share some high resolution images. When talking to some photographers, we heard that maybe that's a feature that they would rather have into high definition. Being able to share the image in high resolution. So I know one of the things that we're doing this event today is we want to hear from more photographers. We want to hear your feedback. Should you share the same opinion, or you want to talk to us and tell us how you think we can improve the website? We'd love to hear from you at the end. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But so today, all the images are actually reduced in definition, so that we cannot download high resolution images, trying to make it a little bit harder for people who are trying to do wrong, to take advantage of artists. Below here, we have the metadata about the work and what the work is available for. So in this case, it's open for inquiries, it's open for exhibition, and available for professional service. You can make the prints are available for sale, and so on. And list here all the things that you're open to have everything your work is open for, and simply make an inquiry the same way. When you are into the administrative aspect, and I'll show that in a second, but you're able to direct who gets this message. So if you're represented by a gallery, the gallery can be the representative. If you have a dealer that you work with, to represent yourself, you're able to direct in the back end of the website on your portal who would be the representative, and who you would like to receive these requests. Now, going down here, we get to the process. The process we call the creation story, the creation process. And this is where we really try to tell the story behind your inspiration. How did this piece came about? How was your inspiration? And really kind of bring to life the story of the work, right? We've heard that this driving significantly more interest. We've heard it before. We heard it since we've created this, and there's been tons of positive feedback. You have the ability to add videos, images, supporting documents, or simply write the story a little bit like Patty did here about the inspiration of this work. Probably so far one of the features that we've received the most positive feedback on. Below here, we have the artwork timeline, which I would say is probably the easiest way to see this. This is where we document provenance, and really being able to show everything that the work has been exhibited, or it might have won some prize, and so on. In this case, I know this work has been through a lot. That's why I picked it to show you guys, so you can see a series of different events. So you can see here, it was into this gallery back in February 2016, and we can see different images. If I go back to what I showed you a little bit earlier, Gallery 501, you can see that all the same documentation and the same images are shared here. When you update your artwork record, it automatically populates your CV. We wanted to create that to reduce the administration. We wanted people to come in and start telling the story of their work and adding the information, and then for that to automatically populate into other areas, significantly reducing the amount of administration. The reality is, when you built your profile, if you've been an artist for 30 years, you probably have a lot to add. You probably have a lot of different work to add and to build the story behind them. And it may feel overwhelming at first. So what we would suggest is start with 1, 2, maybe 3 work, and then start telling the story and then gradually add. Many people have chosen to start building their profile from the most recent event and then make their way back, but this is entirely up to you. But what I would say is, in the case of this artwork record, I know that Patty probably spent many hours trying to build this so that it tells the story as beautifully as it says today. Although this is highly encouraged to build the profile this complete, I wouldn't want people to believe that it has to be this complete to be able to be posted, right? We saw some other artwork record that might just have a little bit of information, maybe in there, and maybe there's only one image here in a short story. But the point is to get started. Just like building your LinkedIn profile, it does take time. You got to get started. You got to work on it, and over time, it's going to become better. Going at the bottom here, we can see that the creator in this case is Patty Lamb. The copyright holder is Patty. It's done this in 2016. I see the name of the artist and that the ID has been verified. So this brings me, seeing that the evidence that was provided on the different event, seeing the creation story, it makes me feel pretty confident that Patty is the rightful copyright holder and the creator of this work. However, should I believe that is not the case, I have the ability to come here and dispute the claim. If I see an image that, it should be my artwork, but it's on Patty's page, I have the ability to dispute the claim. This is going to send us a notification. We'll start the investigation process to make sure that the artists are sharing, are the rightful owner of the work that they're sharing. And just to give you guys an idea so far, we haven't had any of these cases happen. We haven't had anybody being bad actor, and I would say requiring the ID to be verified up front is probably a major contributor to that. The artwork is also signed digitally. This is a cryptographic signature. It's kind of the equivalent to sign your artwork, but in the digital world. Without getting into too much detail, because not everybody is a super strong on technology, but we tie the Imprimo profile and the ID that's been verified through the cryptographic signature with the metadata about the work, which is the name of the artist, the name of the piece, all the metadata that is here, the name of the creator at the bottom, the name of the copyright holder and the date, all tied together and registered on the blockchain. So we're not only registering the claim, we're also registering the claim and tying it to the profile on Imprimo, which ID has been verified. That process is one of the processes that we put in place to try to protect the artists, try to protect photographers in a world where it's so easy to get their art stolen. The last few things before I move over to the questions and then discussion. Some of the things that we've created. So we heard from many artists that when selling some prints or selling some work, they have to create their own documentation for their work. And in some cases, that was simply a document they have to create into Word. So we wanted to make something that is beautiful and easy to share. And we created the certificate of creation. The certificate of creation, you can see the name of the work, the name of the artist. You have my signature here. You absolutely do not have to add your signature. By all means, you can. So far, I would say, there's a pretty large amount of artists who had decided to add their signature, and surprisingly, there's quite a bit that also decide not to, and that's perfectly fine. You'll see the metadata about the work. You'll see the date that it was registered, the date that the ID was registered, the blockchain ID, which would be the token. The blockchain ID is the hash that is tied to the claim. In this case, it's pending because I'm not an artist, and you're looking at the Imprimo's logo here. But if you had published a work, the actual blockchain ID would appear. And finally, in the bottom right corner, you have the QR code. The reason for the QR code is as you sell the work or you exhibit the work, this document is able to combine the work, which make it very easy for your audience to come, take their phone out, scan the QR code, and then they're directed immediately to the artwork record where they can learn the full story behind the artwork. They can learn more about the artist and learn more. So as the print, as the piece gets sold from one person to another, or exhibited from one gallery to another. It makes it very easy to continue the story, to continue to tell the story from one person to the other. And also it allows for the artist to continue to add details to the artwork record, even once the piece has been sold, so that the story can be told easily to the buyer, to the owner of the piece, via this QR code. We also created just a QR code. So should you say, I want to exhibit my work somewhere, typically in most galleries, you'll see a small plaque with a little bit of details, but it doesn't really do justice as to who is the artist, what is the story behind this. So we wanted to make it very easy to share that story. So we added these QR code, who we've heard from many artists who are affixing that next to their work when they're doing exhibition, or show of some sort. And this allows the audience to come, scan this, and learn the full story through the artwork record, just like I showed you previously. We have also created some integration with different image bank. Today we have Copyright Visual Art and NWAC, which allows you to import all the images that you have here. We'll continue to develop that. That is one of the important part about making it very easy for artists to add their work to Imprimo and to reduce the amount of administration that is required on the website. So we'll continue to add more image banks. So if you're part of one of those image banks, it's very easy. You can start importing, you type your name, and then you can add all your work all at once. And if you're not part of one of those image bank, and you have other image bank that you're part of and you'd like to see here, by all means, send us a message at info@imprimo.ca. We'd love to hear from it. And we're continuously trying to add more features to make it easier for creators to create a profile. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and head over a couple more things before we start the discussion. So one of the few things that we've heard was many photographers are looking to build a presence for their artistic project. So they might have a commercial website, they might have a website for the commercial photography and a strong presence, but it may not get the attention that they wanted for their artistic work and so on. So we thought that building a profile on Imprimo does a few things for you. Most of the interactions are automated. You get to benefit from being part of a group of creators that drive their audience over to the platform as well, right? And it makes it so even if you only have 2 or 3 images, you can still have a very good first impressions from your audience when they land onto your profile, versus if you had a website with only 2 or 3 images, it probably would not give a very strong first impression. So it really allows for people who may not have the time, may not have the expertise to build a website, to have an online presence very easily, still drive traffic to their website, and do it in a way where their rights are being well displayed and protected. And also we've seen many photographers and artists who have a beautiful presence, but are looking to enhance their digital presence and connect with different part of the ecosystem, whether those are galleries, different art buyers, and different art lovers, and so on. So being part of the ecosystem is a big part of this. Again, today where we're at is we have the artist profile, which is a little bit like a small website that you share a platform with everybody. Very shortly, we'll have the galleries join, and that will drive a lot more interaction, and a lot similar to the interaction that you'll see between employers and employees on LinkedIn, but you'll see it with galleries and different art organizations, with artists and photographers and so on. So that's where we're at. So and then going on and a little bit further into our roadmap on the evolution of Imprimo, we will integrate with a series of different marketplaces. That's one questions we get really often. Can I sell my work on Imprimo? The answer to that is no. So one of the things that was important to us is we wanted to create a database that was authoritative about the art ecosystem. We wanted people to be able to come to Imprimo to verify who is the rightful owner of this work and have information that they're able to trust. Our objective is not to disrupt the art ecosystem, but is to enhance the art ecosystem by partnering with these organizations and helping some of the challenges that they're seeing. I'll give you a few examples. Some of these, some of these online marketplaces that we're seeing today, for example, some of them being on Etsy. We've seen many artwork being on Etsy that is that is not the rightful owner of this. And it's very easy for me to come in and add some images and pretend to be an artist that I'm not. And I think we did a pretty decent job at Imprimo to try to build some features that prevented that. When we look onto the NFT marketplace, which many creators are finding quite interesting, we've seen as many as 85% of NFTs being fraud or done by bots and things like that on a platform like OpenSea, which is quite reputable, right? So there's actually a pretty strong challenge. These organizations are selling work that is not attributed to the rightful owner, and those are not their intention. So our objective with Imprimo is to build a resource that the entire ecosystem can share, and that we're able to integrate with these different platforms so that they know that the users and the people that are selling their art are the rightful owner. So giving it a little bit of an idea of where we're going. Although we wanted to create the ability to build your profile and drive opportunity, and that's where we've done it, what the work is available for. And these will continue to evolve based on the feedback that we received. Our objective is to allow you to present your work in a way that is, very engaging, allows you to protect your rights, but also allows you to drive opportunities.